Hear me before today ends. I am asking you to stop what you are doing and listen with your whole heart. Not later, not when things calm down, not when you feel ready. This moment is not waiting for you to feel comfortable. This moment is reaching for you because time has already moved farther than you think. You have let many moments slip past before, telling yourself you will return, telling yourself you would deal with it tomorrow, telling yourself this could wait. But I am speaking now because this one cannot. Your soul already knows that something is closing, that something important is at stake, and that quiet urgency you feel is not imagination. It is truth knocking while there is still a door to open. Do not turn your back on me now. I need you to see this, even if it shakes you, even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if it disrupts your plans for the rest of the day. You have turned away before, not in anger, not in rebellion, but in avoidance. You looked away because it felt easier than facing what you knew was true. You told yourself you would come back when you had more strength, more clarity, more peace. But turning away did not give you peace. It only gave you distance. I am not here to accuse you of that. I am here to stop you from doing it again when the cost would be greater. Time is running out faster than you think, and your soul already feels it. You sense it in the pressure behind your thoughts. You sense it in the way rest no longer fully restores you. You sense it in the way urgency rises at unexpected moments, as if something inside you is saying, "Pay attention now." That voice is not panic. It is awareness. It is your spirit responding to truth. You have tried to quiet it with distraction, with noise, with busyness, but it keeps returning because it carries something you need to hear. This message is reaching you before midnight for a reason that is eternal. I am not speaking to you about a clock on the wall. I am speaking to you about a moment in your heart. Midnight is not just an hour, it is a line, a shift, a closing of one space, and the opening of another. There are moments when clarity is available, and moments when it becomes harder to reach. You are standing in one of those moments now. That is why this feels intense. That is why it feels personal. That is why it feels like something you should not ignore. If you ignore this, you will carry the regret far longer than you imagine. Not because I will punish you, not because I will stop loving you, but because regret grows when truth is known and dismissed. It grows quietly, shaping choices, dulling hope, whispering you knew, in moments when you wish you had chosen differently. I am not trying to frighten you. I am trying to spare you. Regret is heavy not because it comes from me, but because it comes from missed opportunity. And I do not want you to carry that weight when there is still time to lay it down. This is not fear speaking to you. This is love warning you while there is still time. Fear rushes to control. Love speaks clearly and gives you the dignity of choice. I am not forcing you. I am not cornering you. I am placing truth in front of you and asking you to look at it honestly. Love warns when silence would harm. Love interrupts when delay would cost too much. Love speaks now because love sees what you cannot yet see. My child, this may be the last moment you hear my voice this clearly. Not because I will disappear, but because hearts change when truth is ignored too long. Sensitivity dulls, conviction softens, urgency fades. You do not wake up one day hardened. It happens slowly, through small dismissals, small delays, small decisions to look away. I am speaking clearly now because clarity is still possible. Do not trade that clarity for comfort. I know your first instinct may be to pull back, to protect yourself, to tell yourself this is too much, too intense, too demanding. But be honest with yourself. You feel this because it matters. You feel this because something deep inside you recognizes the weight of this moment. You feel this because you were not created to drift endlessly. You were created for truth, for connection, for life that is awake and real. Hear me before today ends, because tomorrow is not promised in the way you think, not just in days, but in awareness. Tomorrow may come with more noise, more distraction, more reasons to delay. Tonight, your heart is open enough to hear. Tonight, the questions you have avoided are close to the surface. Tonight, the quiet has enough space for truth to speak. That is why I am calling you now. Do not turn your back on me now. Turning away does not make the truth disappear. It only makes it harder to face later. I am not standing here as an enemy to your comfort. I am standing here as a protector of your soul. I see where certain paths lead. I see where continued delay takes you. I see how easily life can become a cycle of survival without meaning, and I refuse to let you walk there without reaching for you again. Time is running out faster than you think, because moments like this are rare. Not rare because I am distant, but because life is loud, because hearts grow tired, because attention is scattered. When a moment of stillness breaks through, when truth reaches you without distortion, when you feel both urgency and love at the same time, that is not common. That is a gift. Do not waste it. This message has found you before midnight because timing matters. You could have encountered this another day. You could have missed it entirely, but here you are, watching this video, feeling something stir inside you. That is not coincidence. That is care. That is intention. That is me refusing to let this day end without giving you a chance to respond. If you ignore this, regret will not come loudly. It will come quietly. It will show up in moments when you wonder why peace feels far away. It will show up when you feel a sense of loss you cannot explain. It will show up when you realize you knew better and chose comfort instead. I do not want that for you. I want life for you. Real life, awake life, honest life. This is not fear speaking to you. Fear would tell you that you are already lost. Love tells you that you are still wanted. Fear would rush you without explanation. Love takes the time to speak clearly, even urgently. Love warns and waits. That is what I am doing now, my child. Listen, I am not asking you to understand everything tonight. I am not asking you to fix your whole life before midnight. I am asking you not to ignore what your heart already knows. I am asking you to stop running from the quiet truth that has been following you for a long time. I am asking you to let this moment matter. This may be the last moment you hear my voice this clearly, because clarity requires response. When truth is met with honesty, it grows brighter. When it is met with delay, it grows quieter. I want you to have light, not confusion. I want you to have peace, not numbness. I want you to have direction, not endless motion. Hear me before today ends. I am stepping into your day right now, not lightly, not quietly, but with purpose. I am interrupting what you are doing because this moment cannot wait behind another task, another message, another distraction. You did not arrive here by habit or routine. This is not something you stumbled into while passing time. This moment has weight, and your spirit already feels it. I am asking you to stop because if this day closes without you hearing me, something precious will be missed, something that may not return in the same way again. I know how quickly days move for you. I know how easy it is to tell yourself you will listen later, reflect later, pray later, change later. I know how convincing those thoughts sound, but I am speaking now because this moment is time sensitive. Not because I am impatient, but because certain doors are only open for a short while. Certain moments carry a clarity that does not linger forever. Let me be specific about what I see happening in your life. You wake up each day and move through routines that feel necessary but empty. You check tasks off lists. You respond to messages. You fulfill obligations. But underneath it all, there is a hunger you cannot name. a restlessness that rest does not cure, a sense that you are missing something essential. Maybe it shows up when you achieve something you thought would satisfy you, but the satisfaction lasts only hours before the emptiness returns. Maybe it shows up in the middle of a crowded room when you suddenly feel completely alone. Maybe it shows up at night when the noise finally stops and you are left with thoughts you have been avoiding all day. Maybe it shows up when you scroll through your phone looking for something to make you feel connected, only to feel more isolated. You have become skilled at ignoring that feeling. You fill your time, you stay busy. You convince yourself that everyone feels this way, that this is simply what life is. But that is not truth. That is resignation. That is what happens when the soul grows tired of hoping for more and decides survival is enough. You have convinced yourself that wanting more is ungrateful, that longing for deeper meaning is unrealistic, that expecting life to feel different is naive. But what if that hunger is not a flaw? What if it is a signal? What if your soul is telling you that you were created for more than managing days and checking boxes? What if the restlessness you feel is actually your spirit refusing to settle for a life that looks fine on the outside, but feels hollow on the inside? I need you to see this pattern. Every time that restlessness rises, you reach for distraction. When questions surface about whether this is really the life you want, you silence them with noise. When dissatisfaction whispers that something needs to change, you drown it out with busyness. You have become afraid of silence because silence forces you to feel what you have been avoiding. The pattern looks like this. You feel the stirring, the question, the dissatisfaction. It rises up, demanding attention, and immediately you reach for your phone. You reach for food. You reach for entertainment. You reach for work. You reach for anything that will fill the space before the feeling can take shape. You have trained yourself to react so quickly that you barely notice you are doing it anymore. And in the moment, it works. The distraction does its job. The feeling fades into the background, you move on, but it never truly goes away. It just waits. And the next time it rises, you need a stronger distraction, a longer scroll, a busier schedule, more noise to drown out the whisper, until eventually you are living at a volume that makes it impossible to hear your own soul. The cost of this avoidance is greater than you realize. You think you are protecting yourself from pain, from disappointment, from the risk of hoping again. But what you are actually doing is slowly numbing yourself to life itself. You are trading aliveness for safety. You are choosing the familiar ache over the unknown possibility of healing. And the tragedy is that you do not even realize how much you have lost until moments like this, when something breaks through, and you suddenly remember what it felt like to feel deeply. I am not here to shame you for this. I am here to tell you that there is another way. But that way requires you to stop running. It requires you to turn and face what you have been fleeing. It requires courage, not the loud kind that charges into battle, but the quiet kind that says, I will look at what is real, even if it hurts. Time is running out for this kind of honesty, not because death is near, but because the longer you live half awake, the harder it becomes to wake fully. The longer you settle for numbness, the more normal it feels. The longer you avoid the questions your soul is asking, the quieter those questions become, until one day you realize you can no longer hear them at all. That is what I am trying to prevent. That is why I am speaking with such urgency. I am not afraid of your questions. I am not afraid of your doubts. I am not afraid of your anger or your confusion or your pain. I am afraid of your silence. I am afraid of the day you stop asking, stop seeking, stop hoping for something more. My child, I need you to see where you have been living. Not geographically, but spiritually. You have been living in the space between the life you once hoped for and the life you have settled into. between the person you thought you would become and the person survival has made you, between faith that felt real and going through motions that feel empty. This in-between place feels safe because it requires no decision. You do not have to fully commit. You do not have to fully let go. You do not have to fully hope or fully surrender. You can stay comfortable in the middle ground, never risking too much, never losing too much, but also never truly gaining anything either. You can pray without expecting answers. You can attend without engaging. You can participate without being present. You can go through all the right motions while your heart remains carefully protected, carefully distant, carefully uninvested. And for a while, this feels like wisdom. It feels like balance. It feels like you have found a way to stay connected without getting hurt, to remain faithful without becoming vulnerable. But this in-between place is not neutral ground. It is erosion. Every day you spend there, something essential wears away. Passion dulls. Conviction softens. Hope becomes a memory rather than a present reality. The prayers that once moved you become words you recite out of habit. The truths that once transformed you become concepts you acknowledge but no longer experience. The presence you once felt becomes something you remember, but can no longer access. You are not staying the same in this place. You are slowly becoming someone who no longer remembers what it felt like to be fully alive. Someone who has forgotten what joy feels like without the shadow of fear. Someone who has lost the ability to hope without immediately protecting yourself from disappointment. Someone who moves through life managing risk instead of embracing possibility. I need you to see your heart, not the version you show others, not the version you have convinced yourself is fine. The real one, the tired one, the conflicted one, the one that still longs for something more but has grown afraid to hope again. That heart is not broken. It is buried. Buried under disappointment, under fear, under the weight of trying so hard to manage life on your own. Look at what you keep busy so you do not have to feel. Look at what drains you but feels familiar. Look at what you cling to even though it no longer gives life. Look at the places where you settled because hope felt risky. Look at the moments you chose comfort over conviction, not because you were weak, but because you were tired. I am not asking you to condemn yourself for these things. I am asking you to acknowledge them. Condemnation shuts down the heart. Acknowledgement opens it. When you see clearly, you stop fighting shadows. You stop running from unnamed fears. You stop carrying guilt you cannot even explain. Seeing gives shape to what has been haunting you quietly. You have been avoiding truth, because truth asks questions you were afraid to answer. Questions like, is this how I want to live? Why do I feel so empty when my life looks full from the outside? What am I afraid of losing if I change? Who have I become just to survive? These questions felt dangerous because you did not know where they would lead. But avoiding them has not kept you safe. It has kept you stuck. The questions did not disappear. They just went underground, shaping your choices in ways you did not recognize. Every time you chose distraction over reflection, every time you stayed busy to avoid feeling, every time you settled for less because reaching for more felt too risky, those unanswered questions were directing you. Seeing clearly also means seeing where you have been afraid of change, afraid of loss, afraid of letting go of what feels secure, even if it hurts. Fear has shaped more of your choices than you want to admit, not because you are cowardly, but because you are human. Fear taught you to build walls, to control outcomes, to stay where you know the risks. But fear cannot lead you into life. It can only keep you from danger while quietly blocking joy. I need you to see that some of the peace you think you have is actually numbness. Numbness is not rest. It is exhaustion that has learned to shut down. You stopped feeling deeply because feeling deeply hurt. And that made sense at the time. But numbness steals both pain and joy. You may be afraid that if you really see things clearly, everything will fall apart, that you will not be able to put it back together, that the weight will be too much. Hear me, I am not asking you to see everything at once. I am asking you to stop refusing to look. I am with you in what you see. You are not opening your eyes alone. Truth feels heavy when you carry it by yourself. Truth becomes lighter when it is shared with me. That is why I am inviting you to look honestly at your life with me present, not standing over you, but standing beside you, guiding you, holding you steady as clarity comes. Seeing clearly does not mean you must fix everything immediately. It means you stop lying to yourself about what is real. It means you stop calling hunger contentment, fear wisdom, numbness peace. It means you allow yourself to say something is not right without immediately rushing to cover it up. My child, you have survived by not looking too closely. That survival deserves compassion. But you do not have to survive anymore. You are allowed to live. Living requires vision. Vision requires light. Light requires openness. That is the path I am inviting you onto now. I know this feels like a lot. I know part of you wants to retreat, to close your eyes again, to tell yourself you will deal with this later. But later is what brought you here feeling restless and unsatisfied. Later did not protect you. Later delayed healing. Now is where clarity still lives. I need you to see this because I want you free. Free from confusion. Free from endless cycles. Free from carrying unnamed burdens. Freedom does not begin with answers. It begins with seeing the questions clearly. Look at me, my child. I am not afraid of what you will discover when you open your eyes. I already know it, and I am still here, still loving you, still calling you forward, still ready to heal what truth reveals. Seeing will hurt before it heals. Yes, but blindness will cost you more than you can afford to lose. What I am offering you tonight is not a formula. It is not a program. It is not a set of steps that will fix everything by morning. What I am offering you is a return to awareness, a return to honesty, a return to the kind of life your soul has been craving, a return to feeling deeply instead of living numb, a return to hoping fully instead of protecting carefully, a return to being present instead of merely surviving. But that return requires action tonight. Not all the action, not perfect action, just the first step. And that first step is simple though not easy. It is prayer. Not the kind of prayer you have been praying out of habit or obligation. Not the kind that repeats familiar words while your mind wanders elsewhere. Not the kind you pray because you think you should, while your heart remains carefully guarded, but the kind of prayer that comes from a heart that has finally decided to stop pretending. The kind of prayer that breaks through the walls you have built. The kind of prayer that comes from exhaustion with your own avoidance. The kind of prayer that says, I am tired of running. I am tired of pretending I have this figured out. I am tired of the distance I feel. I need you. I need clarity. I need healing. I need to know what to do next. This prayer does not have to be long. It does not have to be eloquent. It does not have to sound spiritual or impressive. It just has to be honest. It just has to come from the real you. Not the version you present to others. Not the version you think I want to hear. But the tired, conflicted, hungry, hopeful you that has been hiding beneath all the pretending. Here is what I want you to do right now before this video ends. Before you move on to the next thing, before the moment passes, I want you to pause. I want you to take a breath, and I want you to pray with me out loud if you can, in your heart if you must, but pray with intention, pray with awareness, pray like your soul depends on it because it does. Say this with me, Lord. I am here. I am listening. I have been avoiding this moment, but I am not avoiding it anymore. I confess that I have been living half awake, I confess that I have been choosing comfort over truth. I confess that I have been afraid, and that fear has been directing me more than faith. I do not want to live this way anymore. I am tired of the distance. I am tired of the numbness. I am tired of pretending everything is fine when my soul knows it is not. I am opening my eyes tonight. I am choosing to see what is real, even if it hurts. I am choosing to trust you with what I find. I need your strength. I need your clarity. I need your healing. Show me the next step. Show me what to release. Show me what to embrace. I surrender this moment to you. I surrender my fear to you. I surrender my resistance to you. Lead me into the life I was created for. The life that is honest and awake and whole. I trust you. Even when I am afraid, I trust you. Amen. If you prayed that prayer with me, I want you to do something right now. I want you to type in the comments, "I am choosing to see." Just those 4 words. I am choosing to see. This is not just about engaging with this video. This is about making a public declaration, even if it is just 4 words on a screen. It is about taking a step that makes this moment real, that makes your decision tangible. When you type those words, you are telling yourself, "I am not ignoring this." You are telling me, "I heard you, and I am responding." You are telling the enemy, "I am no longer staying stuck." Type it now, "I am choosing to see." And if this message has stirred something in you, if you recognize that this is not just another video but a moment you needed, then do one more thing. Subscribe to this channel, not because I need the numbers, but because you need the reminders. You need to hear truth spoken clearly. You need to be called back when you start to drift. You need a place where someone is willing to speak urgently about what matters most. Subscribing is your way of saying, "I want more of this. I want to be reminded. I want to stay awake." So do it now. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you do not miss what is coming next. Because this is not the end of the conversation. This is the beginning. My child, time is running out faster than you think, but not in the way you have been imagining. I am not speaking to you about death. I am speaking to you about awareness. There are times when the heart is soft, when conviction can still be felt, when urgency still stirs something inside you, and there are times when the same words fall flat, when the same truth feels distant, when the same invitation no longer moves you. That is what time really is in the spirit. It is not measured by minutes. It is measured by openness. And openness does not stay the same forever. You are in a window right now, a window where clarity is possible, a window where change can happen, a window where your heart is still soft enough to respond. That window will not stay open indefinitely, not because I close it, but because hearts that keep saying no eventually stop hearing the question. I am not trying to manipulate you with urgency. I am trying to protect you from the cost of delay, because I have seen what happens when people wait too long. I have seen hearts grow so dull that they no longer recognize their own hunger. I have seen people become so skilled at numbing themselves that they forget what it feels like to be alive. I have seen delay turn into decades and good intentions turn into regret. I do not want that for you. The invitation I am extending tonight is the same invitation I have been extending all along. Come, return, surrender. Stop running, stop pretending, stop settling for survival when you were created for life. But tonight, that invitation carries a weight it may not carry tomorrow. Not because I change, but because you might. Not because I stop calling, but because you might stop hearing. That is why I am asking you to respond now. Not later. Not when it feels easier. Not when you have figured everything out now. While your heart is still open, while truth is still clear, while urgency is still stirring something inside you, The response I am asking for is not complicated. It is not a complete transformation by morning. It is one honest prayer, one clear decision, one step toward the life you were created for. If you have made it this far, if you have stayed with me through this entire message, that alone tells me something about your heart. It tells me you are hungry. It tells me you are ready. It tells me that despite all the fear and resistance, there is a part of you that wants to stop running. Honor that part of yourself. Do not ignore it. Do not push it down. Do not tell yourself you will come back to it later. Take the step tonight. Pray the prayer, type the words, subscribe to stay connected, and then trust that what you have started tonight, I will continue. You do not have to have all the answers. You just have to take the first step. I will meet you there. I will guide you from there. I will give you what you need for the next step when you are ready for it. But tonight, this step, this prayer, this decision, this declaration, let today end differently than it began. Let this moment be the turning point, not because everything will suddenly be perfect, but because you will finally stop running. And when you stop running, healing can begin. When you stop pretending, truth can speak. When you surrender strength you did not know you had becomes available. This is not just about feeling something in this moment. This is about making a decision that shapes what happens next. When you pray this prayer, when you type those words in the comments, when you subscribe to this channel, you are building a bridge between where you are and where you need to be. You are creating accountability. You are making your decision visible, tangible, real. And here is what I know about you. I know that if you made it this far, if you watched this entire video, if you felt every word of this message, then you are ready. You are tired enough of the in-between. You are hungry enough for something real. You are brave enough to take this step even though you are afraid. That is courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. So do not wait. Do not tell yourself you will come back to this later. Do not let this moment slip past like all the others. Right now, while your heart is open, while clarity is present, while urgency is still stirring something inside you, respond. Pray the prayer out loud. Type "I am choosing to see" in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. These are not just religious rituals. These are declarations of intent. These are you telling yourself, telling me, telling the enemy that keeps you stuck, I am done running. I am done pretending. I am done settling for survival when I was created for life. I am taking the step. I am making the choice. I am answering the call. And everything changes from here. My child, I am with you. I have been with you through everything that brought you to this moment. Every disappointment that made you want to give up. Every betrayal that made you want to protect yourself. Every unanswered prayer that made you question if I was listening. Every night you cried yourself to sleep feeling completely alone. I was there. I have been there. And I am here now. And I will be with you through everything that follows. Through the discomfort of opening your eyes, through the pain of seeing what you have been avoiding, through the fear of letting go of what feels safe, through the uncertainty of trusting again, through the awkwardness of hoping after you swore you would stop hoping. Through all of it, I will be there. Not as a distant observer, but as a present guide. Not as a harsh judge, but as a loving father. But I need you to choose. I need you to respond. I need you to let this moment matter. Hear me before today ends. Stop, breathe. Feel the weight of this moment. Recognize that you are standing at a crossroads. One path leads back to the familiar cycle of avoidance, distraction, numbness, and regret. The other path leads toward healing, awareness, life, and freedom. The choice is yours. Pray, Speak the words with your whole heart. Lord, I am here. I am listening. I have been running, but I am stopping now. Declare. Type I am choosing to see in the comments below. Make it real. Make it visible. Make it a moment you can return to when doubt tries to pull you back. Subscribe. Stay connected to messages that will keep calling you forward. Keep reminding you of what matters. Keep speaking truth when the noise gets loud again, and then rest in knowing that you did not ignore the call. You answered, and that changes everything. Not because your life will be perfect by morning, but because you took the step that makes everything else possible. You stopped running, you opened your eyes, you chose truth over comfort, and from this moment forward, nothing will be the same. Welcome back, my child. Welcome back to life. Welcome back to hope. Welcome back to me.